Did you know that you can build Canvas apps using AI? Hi, I'm Bruno and welcome to the Power Minutes. Today we're going to have a look at a new feature that allows tools such as GitHub Copilot or Claude Code to work on Canvas apps using an MCP connector. This feature can remove a lot of boring work from your daily efforts and streamline how you develop or even document your apps. We will show you what steps you need to take to get your agent and Canvas app ready. There are a few things that you need to sort out. So let's start with Canvas apps. I already have it open, and the setting that you need to change is under Updates, and it is co-authoring. You need to have this setting enabled, and once you have it enabled, you need to save and reload your Canvas app, and that's required. So beforehand, this was used to connect or allow multiple people to connect and work on the same Canvas app at the same time. Now it's been extended so agents can do the same. All right, now from this side we have everything done on the Canvas app. Let's leave it open and let's check the other side, which is under Visual Studio. You can use either Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code. In our case, we're using Visual Studio Code, and we've already configured Claude for today's example. If you haven't set up an agent on your tool, we suggest that you pause the video and install the agent of your preference and then come back to us. All right, now looking first before we going through anything, nothing like having some good old documentation to guide you through. We will provide the link later on, and we will learn how to create and edit Canvas apps using AI code generation tools. So it's a brand new piece of documentation and a brand new feature, so a lot of stuff is subject to change. As you can see in the prerequisites, you do need .NET installed and GitHub or Copilot, GitHub or Claude Code to be installed. That's okay. We already took care of it. If you haven't, again, check it. You might need to relaunch your IDE a few times, but it should be out of box afterwards. And then once you have everything set up, we need to prepare our agent. So we got Claude over here, and we need to input a few lines of code available in the documentation to give it some skills. So the first one, it goes to the marketplace and it's going to bring the Power Platform skills. It's near instant, great. And then later on, Canvas apps Power Platform skills. It's another tool set, and yeah, we can install it. It will ask you for whom, so we can say for you right now, and it doesn't change too much in our example. And looking back at the documentation, we only need now to connect to our Canvas app. So remember why we left it open? We will need something from it, so we will run this code. If you're running it on natural language, you might even just say configure Canvas app, not running the whole command as is. But for now, it will check, hey, .NET is installed, I have the skills, and it will prompt you and ask you something. It will ask you for the URL of your Canvas App Studio session. That is why we left our app open. So we can copy and paste the URL. We got it, we paste it, and your agent will take care of parsing that whole thing and only keep what it needs to truly to connect. So yeah, let's just let it do its work. And once it's ready, yep, it can continue. We had a previous session, so it's just asking to replace it. That's okay. And once it's ready, we'll just wait for it, but it will ask you, okay, it's good. Now it's one thing we recommend is it should be almost connected to it. It has the information to connect to it, but it hasn't done anything, so it's technically not connected. To do so, we recommend doing a small test, which doesn't do anything to the app itself. So we're going to use the command list controls, which should list the controls you have available on a Canvas app. Should be about 100, so 120 if I'm not wrong. And it's going to town. Since we already had our session open, yep, 122. What it might open to you is, for the first time, it's on your browser to make sure you connect. It will show with your work address, email, and so just make sure you connect, and then you come back to it. And now we're connected. Great. So that makes sure that we are connected to our Canvas app without actually changing anything within it. Within it, we just ask what tools we have to build, basically. So now for a warm-up exercise. So I prepared beforehand a little prompt to give our agent something to do. So its warm-up exercise is going to be to create a new screen. I'm going to call it my first MCP screen. Theme it with the colors of Power Apps. And let's say add a label that says hello world. And we'll let it go to town. Now, it will take more or less time depending on how complex or broad your request is. So, it's already asking here, yeah, you can just work on my environment or my directory just now. For the sake of the example, we're not going to be focusing too much on the internal structure, but let's look at what it does. Even independent on which agent or technology you're using, each model will generally go through the same steps. An evaluation and investigation step, then a local development, so it's going to create a YAML file on your device. That's why it was asking, can I use this folder over here to do my things? That's the local development. And then a third step, which is publish those local developments to the online app. And as you can see, empty screen has no controls. Okay, but as I was told, create a new screen. So I will create a new screen and I'll ignore the blank screen. And now it's preparing to describe the label and so on. And right now it's thinking on what it needs to do. And for those that are used to using Copilot a lot and see Copilot credits, being mindful that these tokens do not match Microsoft's credits. They are unrelated, and each provider has their own weights to leverage how much something costs in terms of thoughts. So check your own provider on how much you're provisioned and how much, let's say, a token or 1,000 or 10,000 tokens costs. Don't compare one with the another as each company is providing it. Wow, look at that. Now you can see it already created some code. You are able to read it. It has very little. It has a fill on the background. I'm assuming that's going to be purple. I'm not too good with RGBs. And then we have a new label called Hello World Label. Okay, that looks good. Sure, it can edit it, and it wrote just 21 lines of code. Very, very small effort for now. It's then gonna review its own code because not in this instance, but in future instances for bigger scenarios, it will test its code and see if there's some conflicts. So it's not just doing things blindly. Of course, the more complex or more stuff there is, the longer it will take, the more credits it will consume. And then we reached our final case. Okay, it compiled clean after one pass. Switch to your Power App Studios tab, and okay, it saved the studios to persist. So I've been playing this live, and ta-da! No behind the screens magic, it just made it itself. So it's a very, very easy and simple use case. We can, of course, bring it to bigger challenges. And one of the challenges we brought up was actually our first initial one that we will show to you. We had a lot of fun these last couple of weeks trying to find the limits, or trying to find the limitations and how we should and shouldn't be doing things with this tool. So we can provide it to you, of course. And these is our biggest achievement so far. We literally just told Claude, hey, go make tic-tac-toe. We were that blunt. We didn't tell him what to do other than build the game. Probably not the rightest way to go about it. We gave a lot of freedom, or Claude had to look at a lot more stuff than we had otherwise if we had provisioned it with more information. But the conclusion is Claude made this game alone. And as you can see, I am playing against myself. And one of the things we found funny is Claude said, hey, the game is fine and all, but what about keeping track? What about, actually following up and saying, this is a game and I want to keep track? We didn't instruct it to it, but it found it would be valuable. Now, admittedly, we had to do a little pass over on our app. The only mistake we found was that this play area here on the container was not centered originally. So we just had to make it centered. That's the little thing we had to do it. Of course, we then had another challenge, which was the classic use case of you just inherited an app, a Canvas app for all things. If you've been in the platform long enough, you know that knowing where the logic is or keeping track of it can be difficult. Namely, if you're not the developer. And we wanted to check it. So I'm just going to pause the video for a little bit because I want to connect to our instance. And we'll come back to it once we're back so we can do one last demo. Okay, so one of the things you'll have to get used to for now is each app is connected to one session. If you want to connect to another app, you need to launch another session to connect to it. So connect to this app and list the screens. So let's see if we can just do this and connect to our Tic-Tac-Toe app. Okay. Again, it's launching a new session, so it's possible if you haven't done it before that it asks you to connect again. And we have three screens, the splash screen, the game screen, and the scar screen, and that matches. So remember when I said we have a small issue, which is I don't know where the game logic is. I can be browsing around, and is it on the unvisible? Is it maybe here on the onSelect? We do have some logic. Okay, that might be it. Maybe. I don't know. Nor do I need to know now with Copilot or with Claude. We can simply go over here and explain to me how we check if somebody wins. Where is the code for that? So that's the other availability that is available on this case is we just don't develop. We can actually use it to leverage the code and report back to us what it does. So we have on the app itself, and indeed we have some code under button cell 00. Every cell runs the same pattern. So basically is what we found by accident is right now each cell has the game code or the game win code. So on every select, it decides if the game is over and if there's a winner. Admittedly, you can further ask it how it does, but that's what we need to know today is this code should work. Is it the best? Honestly, I would have to check through it and see if there's alternatives, namely on the Power Platform. So what is to win here is that rather than having you rummage through the code and try to make sense out of it, the agent can do that for you. And sometimes that will be faster for debugging or even for documentation than doing it yourself alone. So there you have it. You don't have to be alone anymore on a project, at least when it comes to Canvas apps. You can have an agent connected to it using MCP, and it can help you develop, it can help you design, it can help you even debug, and it can even document your apps together with you. So what are you waiting for? Try this new feature yourselves and see you next time.